All right, thank you for staying with us. It's time for us to talk more basketball. We're still talking basketball now because the basketball expert in the house has joined me. Femi Adefeso, thank you for joining us on Sports Tonight. I know it's been a mixed grill for you. Victory over Korea, top 12 in the world, but not going into the next round, crashing out of the Olympic Games. So it was like a mixture of good and bad, but the girls are back.
Yes, they're back in town.
They're back in town.
Yes.
So let's start off from that on that note. For you, what should be the future?
The future looks bright, definitely. With the way
Can we keep these girls together?
I hope so. That's in fact that should be the assignment now for the Basketball Federation. You know, these girls are a young crop. Just about 3 of them are over 29. You know, the rest of them are younger than 27. So it goes to show that it's a young squad
that can grow together,
growing, and they keep them together. And with the quality that they've brought in, we can only move ahead. I was in talks with one of the legends of the game, Umfong Udoka, who coincidentally today celebrating her 40th birthday, and said, look, this team is a team that has promise. And although there's a player in the team bearing promise, but she was talking about that. But this is a team that really has promise. If they can keep the core together, you know, and they can ensure that these girls continue, you know, to play the way you know they're playing. I mean, we're the least ranked team, you know, going to the Olympic qualifiers, and I'm sure nobody gave us a chance. Not even the Koreans thought they would lose. They were crying after the game. You know, their most valuable player, you know, the tall Agninka, you know, was in tears, you know, losing, you know, to that buzzer beater from a fantastic young lady in Ezine Kalu, who plays that trade in Portugal. And I like the fact that these young girls too are spreading their tentacles all across Europe.
Playing across Europe.
We have players in Italy, top division in Spain, you know, in Portugal, you know, as well in Belgium, you know, not forgetting Israel. All these places are actually, you know, top nations when it comes to basketball in Europe. You know, it's not like football where, of course, you say England. You know, it's the other way around in basketball. You know, those are the places that have the big, you know, clubs, you know, who play elite basketball. So I'm glad some of these girls have shown interest to play for the country this early. All we now need to do is keep them together and also try to also develop, you know, the players in the local front. I mean, I must give kudos to Choma Odeaja, who also showed, you know, a little bit of what she has, but she's one of the older players, you know, at 31. So you'll be expecting us to produce, you know, young talent that will be replacing, you know, someone like her on the team. To mention that as well. For the coaching staff, I think what they need to do now is look towards the AfroBasket 2017. You know, that should be the drive. Let's go and win, you know, that trophy.
If we keep these guys together, we have a good chance of winning.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, it was brilliant that they even managed to camp, you know, for a month, building up to displaying friendlies, and it showed. But I think what really actually shot us in the foot, you know, was the fact that you know, just like the way we normally play, we start very slowly. And this Olympic qualifier was unforgiving. We just had 2 games to play. Had it been it was 3 or 4, I'm sure there would have been improvement. Because I saw a trend of improvement from the very first game we played against Turkey in the friendlies to the second game to playing Belarus and then playing Korea. There was a somewhat, you know, upward movement, you know, in terms of the way the girls played. You could tell that they were beginning to form a chemistry, although it was almost too late, you know, in the end, because we just had 2 games, you know, to play. And the interesting thing was, look, it's all about win-win. And I'm glad that they were still able to win a game and tie, you know, in that group. Cameroon, on the other hand, lost both games and were out immediately. But we were still able to compete, you know, with someone like Adora Elon, who just saw now, you know, who has been probably the most consistent player we've had, you know, in the last couple of international games. So I'm glad they're back. The Federation should be looking at how to keep these girls together as a core. You know, start preparation early, you know, moving forward. I think that will also do a lot of good as well. Then also girls from, you know, the local leagues should somewhat, you know, be helped to improve their game. Maybe we try to restructure in a way that, you know, we see more budding talents. I'm happy that we'll be participating, you know, at the World Championship for Under-17 later this month in Spain. So a lot of those young girls, you know, who have moved, you know, should also be looked at. You know, let's look at their development so that in the near future, you know, maybe 1 or 2 of them could just be, you know, drafted, not necessarily to play, but for exposure's sake. And then before we know it, we have, you know, at least a timeline of about, you know, 6 years and looking at, you know, the next Olympic Games, you know, to do something more remarkable.
All right, so that's the story. Of course, Tommy told you the girls are back. They are in Abuja. But that's not where we wanted to end. This is also calling on the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports and the Nigerian Basketball Federation to make sure that we're able to keep these girls together. Look at Olympics, I beg your pardon, the Nations Cup in 2017, and of course look into the future and see how we can get the best out of this young crop of basketballers who went there, fought for Nigeria, defended the green and white, gave their all, but maybe not good enough. But we can always improve on it going forward. All right, let's take a look at the quarterfinals now. We're out of it, so we'll just quickly run through the quarterfinal pairings for the Olympic qualifiers currently going on in France. The conquerors of Nigeria, I'm talking about Korea and Belarus, are facing very, very tough games. Spain against Korea, Turkey against Cuba, Belarus against China, France against Argentina. Femi, very quickly, you win this game, you go to the Olympics.
That's it. You know, it's now winner takes all. 4 tickets first, then the losers will play a classification game to know who gets that last spot. Spain is the highest ranked team, you know, in the tournament, number 3 in the world. So playing Korea, I think, all was said, they are going through. I think Turkey too will do well over Cuba. Who, for me too, haven't been spectacular. The game that would be interesting to watch will actually be that game between Belarus and China. I think they are very balanced, you know, in the way they play the game. I think China is 5th in the world. We have Belarus in 10th, so it's a bit balanced. And then France, who have been playing so well. I think the fans at home have done a good job, you know, for them, you know, in ensuring that they bring their A game to the party against Argentina, who haven't done badly themselves. So those 2 games, I think, will be very dicey, you know, in the end. But France, due to the home support, will likely get the automatic spot in the end. Who gets the 5th spot? That I really can't say for now.
All right, let's move home now. Let's come home and talk about the DSTV Premier Basketball League. Remember on this show last week we had the Queen from Rivers Upas. She was our guest, and the good news for Queen was that they were able to make it through to the final 8. Femi, we now have an idea of when the tournament is starting. Do we know where yet?
Well, not categorically, but
not officially.
Not officially, but I'm being told that it's going to be Lagos. Most likely, and we have the Group A, Kwara Falcons, who flew high in Atlantic Conference. We have Plateau Peaks, who surprised everybody and got to the final 8. We have Customs, and we have Niger Porters. I think this is the weaker of the draw, because this side has a two former champions, Kano Pillars, Rivers Upas, Gombe Bulls, who have a big shout, you know, for the trophy this year, and Oluyole Warriors, who from Ibadan, who also surprised us, you know, getting, you know, into the final 8, because they only managed to win those 2 regular season games, and they ended up, you know, here. So the fixtures go like this: is Plateau Rocks against Customs in the first game. You know, we have Rivers Upas against Gombe Bulls. I would really love to watch that game. It's a game you shouldn't miss. It's slated for 2 o'clock. And we have Niger Porters against Kwara Falcons and Oluyole Warriors against
4 games. 4 games every day.
4 games every day. It starts on Monday and it runs through the week till Saturday, where we crown, you know, the champion of the 2016.
And I'm sure for those of you who follow basketball, you know this is where the excitement begins. The final 8 build up to the final day. So get ready to enjoy the best of basketball on the domestic scene next week. And as Femi said, we wait for official confirmation that Lagos is hosting, so that we can direct you to the indoor sports hall of the National Stadium, Surulere, Lagos, to enjoy the best that basketball has got to offer. We talked briefly about this with Sonny Young and Femi. The Nigerian interest at the NBA Finals is Festus Ezeli. Hopefully, he can bring this form into Team Nigeria at the Olympic Games. But we're looking forward to seeing what impact he makes tonight.
Yes, and looking likely that he will get a starting shirt because Andrew Bogut is out, just like Sonny confirmed to us. That's their starting center. Although we have the Brazilian Anderson Varejao, you know, who also starts in there, but he's from all what the pundits have been saying for tonight, he may be the one to, you know, start in that spot for them. I like the fact that the guy is learning and is growing, you know, over the series of games. You can tell that
his impact has been growing.
Yes, it's better than, you know, the last time out, you know, he wore the jersey, you know, of the Golden State Warriors. And this time last year too, they were in this position and they won, you know, the finals right there in Cleveland, you know, in front of
so they want to do it again.
So it's possible they do that, you know, again tonight. But it's really going to be tough with the way, you know, the Cleveland Cavaliers actually played Game 5. They were playing for their lives, and it couldn't have been any
But you
better.
ask yourself, how many of
all
such games?
the records.
How many of such games do they have left in them?
Well, when you have an emerging player like Kyrie Irving, and you have, permit me to use word, a monster, like LeBron James, anything can just happen.
And
but
you have
also, you can't forget the artistry, of Steph Curry as well, who has, for me, has just had one good game.
I was going to ask you that, and it all depends on how Golden State Warriors also allow them to play.
Yes, and in the end, I think it will boil down to which offense comes up quicker and is more consistent, down the stretch at the end of the day, because both of them can actually score a whole lot, and I think that's what will really determine, who wins in the end. But if you ask me as a neutral, I think I want to see a Game 7 right there, in the Dub Nation in Oakland, California. I really want to look forward to that. So it just creates a level playing field, for both teams. Now it's win at all costs for either one of them.
All right, so we'll keep our eyes on Game 6 tonight and see if we'll be able to see a Game 7 or if Golden State will do it again. All right, that's for the NBA playoffs. Well, let's talk about rewarding excellence.
Absolutely.
Again, the huge Nigerian interest, easily Nigeria's biggest basketball exports.
Absolutely.
Akim the Dream Olajuwon and David Stern in the NBA Hall of Fame.
Yes, this is the
FIBA Hall of Fame.
Already, Akim is already
in the NBA Hall of Fame. Yeah, this is the FIBA.
Yeah, this is the FIBA. So the class of 2016 is headlined by Akim Olajuwon and the former commissioner, of the NBA, who started out from 1984 up until 2014 when he stepped down for Adam Silver. And he's a man that's, been giving the thumbs up for revolutionizing, basketball as an American sport, into, a global sport. Also, he's the former IOC president, Juan Antonio Samaranch. Also he's been given a posthumous, tag of coming, into, that Hall of Fame category. He was, of course, president of IOC, from 1980 to 2001, before he passed on. A couple of other players, are there representing other nations like Juan Antonio Epifanio of Spain, Fauslas of Greece. We have Manuel Rega, of Mexico as well, and the only coach in the mix is George Canaversi. And for those who are familiar with Argentine basketball, likes of Manu Ginobili was one of those who impacted in all of those players. So it's glad to see that there's recognition for excellence regardless of wherever you are, from America, from Argentina, from Mexico, from Greece, and from Nigeria, as much as it is. So one more laurel in the bag for Akim Olajuwon. So it's unarguably the greatest that's come out from Nigeria when it comes to the game of basketball.
All right, so that's an interesting one. We need to go on a quick break now, but before we go on that break, it's an interesting tweet coming from, guess where? Rivers Hoopers. They're following everything that we're doing on the show, and Femi, they said we are ready for the playoffs. That's from Rivers Hoopers. They've won it before. Can they win it again? Well, we'll find out next week, and hopefully Quinn will be back in Lagos if Lagos is officially announced as the host.
But Tony, one thing is for sure,
yeah,
there'll be a new champion this year. Because Mark Mentos didn't make it.
Didn't make it. All right, so we'll have a new champion. Will it be Rivers Hoopers? Let's wait. A week from now, we begin to see the signs if they can go all the way. Well, we need to go on a quick break now. Femi, thank you so much for your time on Sports Tonight. We'll go on a quick break. Wale Adigun will be joining me. We'll be starting off with Copa America Centenario. We are also down to the business end of Copa America Centenario. We'll talk more about that when we return. Join us again.